Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Mic in hand, ready for deployment. Podcast feels heavy as the ointment. Veteran tales straight from the trenches. Pop culture splices, pulling down the fences. HomeFront Sitrep, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcasts on replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. HomeFront Sitrep, voices from the fight. Veterans sharing dark, stepping into light. Real life saga, not some fairy tale. Truth and resilience, never gonna fail. HomeFront Sitrep, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcast on replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. Legacy 11X, story of Marines. Army anecdotes, Gulf War scenes. Vietnam echoes, Desert Storm sounds. Podcast chronicles, glory and bounds. HomeFront Sitrep, honesty is core. Veterans laying bare what they endure. From the front lines to the homebound grief. Episodes of grit, grind through the grief.
Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Good. Didn't have to leave the house today so far. I was supposed to have my VA annual, but I've got this little upper respiratory sinus infection, whatever you want to call it, and they were able to do a video. So I got that knocked out, which means I'm here at the house instead of in my truck to be able to record today and do this podcast with Mr. George Lutz.
Yeah, I'm super excited, man. You know, it's a Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday afternoon right now. This is a pre-recorded episode because we're taking our 2-week break coming up for Christmas and New Year's, and we won't be back until January 5th, I believe, is our first episode back live. So I'm super excited to, hang out with you and Mr. George Lutz and find out about his organization, which is prominently displayed behind you on the tire there, and also to over your shoulder there on the flag there that's flying there. So super excited about that. I have technically I'm supposed to be back at work today because my disability for some reason only got approved till the 16th of December, and today's the 17th. So technically I'm supposed to be back to work, but my doctor's got me off till the 22nd of January. So I just got to get the paperwork sent into IDSC and hopefully get all that figured out here in the near couple days so I can get paid while I'm off, at least for the first 12 weeks anyway, and then just go from there. So, but no, I'm super excited to learn a whole lot more about honor and remember. You brought these guys to us, and I know they're near and dear to you, and should be near and dear to any Gold Star family out there, and any veteran, any American. Let's just put it should be to any American out there, because we have to honor and respect and remember all of our fallen soldiers out there. And we say it all the time on the podcast. As long as you say their name, their memory will never be forgotten. So we that's something that we as Americans, we have to keep saying their names so we never forget them. And you just did the Race Across America here recently over the weekend. And how did that go?
It went well. There's 3 guys from the Battle of Mogadishu that are buried at Arlington. And, the past 4 years, I've been heavily involved with the Kentucky Mogadishu Mile. So we were able to lay the wreath at two of the guys that are buried there. Joyce already had somebody lay at his wreath or at his marker. And then I was able to lay at Gunny Ball, a guy I served with, a Marine, a great friend, mentor. And he was killed in, I think, 2005, coming out of Karma. And then, George's son, Tony, is buried there. So I went and paid my respects there. And then there's probably another 10 or 15 families that I've met either through Honor Remember or through, Warrior Weekend or just through the skydive team in general. And I went paid respects to, all those families. And then, the other guys that I served with that are buried there too.
No, I love it, man. I definitely love it for sure. So Honor and Remember is the organization that we're going to be talking about today on HomeFront Sitrep. Mission to recognize the sacrifice of America's military fallen service members and their family. The organization pays tribute to all military lives lost, not only while serving on active duty, but also as a result of serving. Military deaths in all wars or conflicts and all branches of service from our nation's inception are recognized. So they go all the way back to when America was formed.
Yeah, as long as there's a family member that is still alive, they'll present them with an Honor and Remember flag. But I mean, and I'll let George talk about it more. I met George initially. It was an email conversation with me wanting to get one of these Honor and Remember flags made in, at 1,000 square feet for the skydive team to jump. And he was pretty weary about it at first. And, we told him that we didn't want any money. We just want to be able to pay, tribute to these, fallen service members. And then, I don't know, it took probably about a month for him to, come around and say, yeah, we'll do it. They sent me the work and we got the flag made. And when it came back, I had to apologize to George because it wasn't the size I promised him. It was an 1,100 square foot. So we had an extra 100 square feet of fabric for the flag. And, what the skydive team does, what Team Fast Tracks does is, when we do jump that flag, we ask if there's any Gold Star families present and we have them come and sign the flag. And at the bottom of every personalized Honor Remember flag is certain information. And we ask them to put, if they want to put that information on there, it's fine. They want to write a little note, that's fine as well. But every time that we jump that flag, that service member is flying with us. I think we probably have close to 700 names on that flag now. And it's been close to 10 years, I think. So, and then I actually got to meet George at Charlotte Motor Speedway that same year. And he's like, you got the flag? I was like, what are you talking about? And then he told me who he was. I was like, oh, we do have the flag, but it's in Ohio. We weren't able to jump it at the time. And then from that point up until COVID hit, we jumped it every year at Charlotte Motor Speedway during the Memorial Race because they do a whole dedication through Honor Remember with putting service members' names on the windshields. Matter of fact, hold on a minute.
Yeah, I remember seeing those on the windshield. So, yeah, I mean, NASCAR has been really good when it comes to the veteran community. So, with everything that they do.
Yeah, so what they've done in the past is, obviously this is a mini, but this was the sunscreen on Ricky Stenhouse's car when he raced with Jack Roush. And they sent Mr. Brzezinski 2 of these. And I was actually able to secure the entire windshield from Ricky's car. And I had Ricky Stenhouse sign it and Jack Roush signed it. And I presented it to Mr. Brzezinski, and he presented me that. So this hangs in the office as, as a reminder of Taylor's sacrifice. And, I served with them too. So, I mean, they just do a great thing. And of course, you see, the NASCAR tire, they did a little sponsorship or partnership with Goodyear, and Goodyear puts the Honor Remember on the tires, and then they auction them off after the race. And So yeah, I mean, there's just so many good things going on with Honor Remember, and I'll let George talk more about it and how the organization started. But yeah, I'm excited to have him on today. It's been a while since I've seen him. So unfortunately, it's virtually. I can't give him a hug, but we will meet up again for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So without further ado, let's bring George up to the stage and get this set in here. Let's see. Make sure I do the right one. Yeah, let's do this one. All right, welcome, George. How are you, sir?
Hey guys, I'm doing terrific. How are you this fine sunny day? I'm in Virginia. Where are you at?
We are both in Kentucky. Sam is closer to you. He's up in northern Kentucky near Cincinnati, and I'm south of Louisville, probably about 20 minutes, 25 minutes south of Louisville, Kentucky. So
Nice. Well, it's a great day. I'm honored to be here. Good to see you again, Sam. I haven't seen you face to face in quite a while. I don't
It's been
think
a
since you
while. Yeah.
guys jumped in was it Kentucky run or Tennessee run you guys jumped in?
The Kentucky run for the fallen. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Anyway, thanks
nice.
for having me.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for making the time. I know you're busy. You just wrapped up, the Gold Star family evening, and I know you wanted to wait until after that was over because all the planning and everything goes into that. So yeah,
Yeah, that
thanks
was
for
a
coming on.
beautiful evening. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Anytime
it's our
I can talk. Yeah, go ahead, Will.
it's our no, it's I was trying to not cut you off. It's our honor to have you on here. To talk about your organization, and Sam speak very highly of you and your organization, so it was a no-brainer to me and Sam to have you on to talk about what you guys do at Honor and Remember. So if you can do me a favor, introduce yourself to all of our watchers, our listeners, and stuff like that. If you don't mind, give us a little bit of your backstory.
Oh yeah. Easy. Easier said than done. I probably can take over the conversation for a while, but my name is George Lutz. I'm the founder of the Honor and Remember organization, the creator of the Honor and Remember flag. But really, I'm just a typical American. I'm just a father that lost his son and wanted to do something about it in terms of getting getting America to recognize, that men and women are losing their lives for the price of freedom. And so I'm not anything special really. I just feel like God has given me a passion unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life, and that passion is national remembrance, is recognition. And I could probably talk all day about that, but I want to just correct you a little bit in that, yeah, I started an organization, but it's started the organization to fulfill a mission. And what, this organization could be here, could not be here. It really makes no difference to me. But what I tried to do from the very inception is to leave a legacy of remembrance, so that no man or woman who gave their life, no family, whoever raised that loved one and had to make an ultimate sacrifice, would ever be forgotten, right? And so long after I'm gone or the organization's still around, I hope that the Honor Remember flag and what it stands for and really why it exists, is that legacy in our country.
Sam, I think I froze. I can hear George, but I can't see anybody. Are you there, Sam?
Yeah, we're here. We can still see you just fine.
There we
Everything's
go.
still coming through just great. So
Nothing was frozen on my end.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
probably my Spectrum internet here. I could hear you guys, but it was just frozen on my end. So hopefully during the recording it didn't freeze. So we'll see.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
should be fine.
Willis is still on dial-up, so
Oh,
we
yes.
we have to bear with his limited technology down there in South Central Kentucky.
One,
Yeah, it's crazy.
go ahead, Willis.
I was just gonna say my Wi-Fi. I got Spectrum internet, and it is just wonky from day to day. It's really weird. So
One of the things that I recognized after my son died, and I don't know. We're just conversational here, so I can give you more details as you'd want to know more details. But I got that knock at the door, as so many families have gotten. Those tragically delivered 5 words: "We regret to inform you." I went through all that grieving process, and then I started in my own pain and my own grieving. Just wanted to go out and find other families who had lost their loved ones, right? Because I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to find out what they were going through. I wanted to find out how they were surviving, right? Because I wasn't surviving very well. I was in a lot of pain. And so I started this kind of this self-deployment, if you will, to go out and seek, other families and have conversations, and new families as well, because I just didn't want to make families in the past. I wanted to new families to know that I was going through it as well, and that I was there if they needed to have a conversation or a hug or whatever it might be, because there are so many different circumstances when there is loss, right? You had read earlier, while serving or as a result of serving. You talked about 22 a day. There's so many different casualty types out there. And there's so many families that go through so many different grieving processes, because then you've got parents, and the parents may be together or they may be divorced. You've got spouses. Some are married, some aren't. Some have children. They may have more than one. They have aunts and uncles and siblings, and there's all dynamics of family relations out there, and they're all grieving differently, right? But the one thing that I have found, and there are a lot of organizations out there doing good things, right? We're building houses, we're giving scholarships, we're having healing weekends, but you can only do that with so many people, right? I mean, you could only take so many people on a warrior weekend. I mean, there's a cutoff. So there might be 10,000 people that want to go, but there's only a few that you can actually take.
Yeah.
When you talk
Yeah.
about NASCAR, who's putting in names on cars, there's only 40 cars. They can only acknowledge 40 service members, no matter what, right? There's a limitation to that. So I thought, in talking to these families, the one thing that they tell me that they wanted more than anything is that their loved ones not be forgotten. All right. So I knew that that was a common thread, regardless of family relations. That's a common thread. Whether you're an aunt, an uncle, or a spouse or a parent, you don't want that loved one to be forgotten. And so what do we do to not forget? I mean, individually, we do a lot of things, right? You've got a family who, let's take I don't want to name any names and call anybody out, but you'll take a family that goes, "Oh my gosh, I can't let people forget." And so initially you have this glomming on of the community. Friends and families are all hanging around, I'd say for a month or even 3 months. You've got this kind of big hug, this universal hug. We lost somebody. It's tragic. We want to make sure you know that we're here for you. Well, that only lasts so long, and it only goes towards the people who are the next of kin, let's say, that way, right?
Yeah.
So the parents get the attention, the spouse might get the attention, but the aunts and the uncles and the cousins, they're not getting the attention. Nobody even knows it. They might have lost their best friend. So first of all, there's kind of strategic or surgical tribute that's only being given to a few people. And so that's going on. But then after a while, that fades, right? People tend to forget. A year goes by, 2 years goes by, 40 years goes by. Those people are still alive, but they're still wanting that remembrance to continue,
Yeah.
right? So what are they doing? Some families are having post offices named after their kids, bridges, roads. They're creating organizations themselves in their loved one's name. You see it everywhere. There's hundreds of them, right?
Yeah.
Because why? They're trying to make sure that their loved one is not forgotten. And they're doing it themselves because it's their loved one. They're not doing it in memory of any other loved ones, unless they died in a group and there's some cohesive, right? You understand that, Sam? Like
Yeah.
extortion 17, the 31 SEALs that went down. When there's group dynamics, it's a little bit different. But the one thing that I hear over and over is that I want to make sure America hasn't forgotten. Okay. There are still families out looking for their loved ones' remains, right? Even now, after 70 years. I mean, they're looking for any hope of at least closure. And so what I thought in meeting now thousands of families personally is, what could I do to satisfy that longing that a family has that their loved one, be remembered? What could I do? And, after a lot of prayer and really 2 years of grieving and walking through my own fog, what I came across was a way that I thought that I could reach everybody, not the 40, not the 400, not the 40,000, but a way that I could reach every single family in America, regardless of what family relationship you had with that loved one. And every friend, right, who lost their buddy, every comrade who was out in battle, even through the loss of those hidden wounds of PTS, a way to reach them all. And that was to create a symbol, a symbol that nobody could ignore, right? It's almost like that saying, give a man a fish and you fed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you fed him for life, right? I wanted to take this one-off situation that was happening and take it out of the hands of the families who are so dynamically working towards making it, a reality for them, and put it in the hands of America and say, America, I'm going to give you a way. I'm going to give you a way, a physical, tangible way that you can say thank you for the sacrifice that's been given for you so that your family didn't have to make it. And it's as simple as a piece of cloth, the honor and remember flag. And so I feel like if you can do one nice thing to somebody, and it might be your neighbor, right? Your neighbor might have lost somebody and you want to just glom on them and love on them and make sure that they haven't been forgotten. But you don't know that there may be 1,000 people that pass your house every day, depending on where you are, or your business, or your church. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 people, 10,000 people that have lost someone that you don't even know. You know one, but do you know 10? Do you know 100? Do you know thousands?
Yeah.
Nobody does. And so by creating this symbol, which didn't exist, creating this symbol and giving it to you to say, put it on your flagpole, because you can send a message to every family you will never meet that sacrifice came at a price. They paid it. You don't know them, but you want to say thank you. This is why I think this flag is one of the most important symbols in America, because we live in a free country. Men and women are dying for us to live in a free country. Sam, Willis, you served. You both could have lost your lives, but you're here, right? I think it's an obligation and a responsibility to make sure that not one of those men and women are forgotten. Now, you can't call all their names out loud. You don't know them all, but you can put a flag up and you can do the first part of that, which is, I'm going to send a message to as many people as I can. And so this is why the Honor Remember flag was created. I recently met with a POW MIA group, and I was talking to them about, about how Honor and Remember to me completes a circle of tribute, because I believe that we have our U.S. flag that defines our borders, our geography. It's who we are. It unifies us, right? But it doesn't stand for anything in particular. It stands for everything.
Yeah.
And men and women die, right, for us to fly that flag. Well, then we had the POWMIA flag that came up. Why? Because attention need to be called to those that were missing and those that were captured. We needed to know that in our country. We needed to know that there were lives out there that existed or didn't exist anymore and needed to be brought home. That was a very purposeful reason for that emblem, right? But I pose the question, if we're remembering the POWs, who are mostly, they're home now, if they're not, gone, and we're remembering the MIAs who are actually mostly, I would say, dead. There's no 90-year-old, people waiting to come home, anywhere. What are we doing to remember those lives? Okay, they're not POWs or MIAs anymore. So there's got to be another level. And to me, that is recognizing those 58,000 that didn't come home from Vietnam. They were not represented by that POW MIA flag. They need representation, right? And all of the others. So to me, those three flags, the US flag, the POW flag, and the honor member flag, complete a circle of tribute that is due those who put their signature on a blank check. And regardless of how they made it home or didn't make it home, they need to know that they are not forgotten. And their families need to know, since they're not here with us. My kid's not here. He doesn't know what I'm doing, what's going on. I think he's in another, eternity that I hope to see him in. But it's the families that are still here that we need to recognize that we are continuing to remember as a nation. Flag mentioned, Sam mentioned about personalized flags. We gift these flags to families. Well, this past weekend, when we had our Gold Star family event, we presented two flags, one to a Vietnam family whose daughter, whose dad is MIA, and also to a Vietnam, that was Vietnam, also to a World War II sister who lost her brother, who was also, remains were not found. And so we are putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak, in saying that this flag, I hoped, would recognize every single fallen service member in the history of our country, up to the present and beyond. So anyway, I've said a lot there, a lot to digest, but that is our mission, to leave a national symbol that is as recognizable as anything, in America. Because I believe without the honor and remember flag and the lives that it represents, there is no US.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, you did say a whole lot there. Man, it's something that we as military members, we talk about saying our fallen brothers and sisters' names so we'd never forget their memory. And then here you are, you created an organization that is doing that for that sole purpose, so that nobody forgets. Um, and you lost your son, and I want to say that I'm sorry for that. I didn't know you then, but I do know you now, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And you created a symbol which is right behind you. People can see it right behind you. Can you explain a little bit about the flag? What the colors mean, what the star means, the flame means? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Yeah, so when I first decided that I was going to create a flag, I didn't have any idea what it was going to look like. I just knew that the fallen needed a flag, as a representation, and the families needed a way of us sending a message. And so I went through a lot of iterations of trying to understand, what do we look at that's symbolic right? Look at what icons do we, like the, yellow ribbons, black ribbons, folded flags, and things like that. And so I started compiling different symbology and trying to put together something that I thought would be effective in sending a message without a lot of explanation. I mean, because that's kind of what I was thinking, is that people are going to see it and their question are going to be, man, I'm seeing this thing everywhere. What does it mean? What's its purpose? And so in pulling all of those elements together, I just started, putting them, in a configuration and a design, and finally came up with what I thought, with some professional help, an idea of what it would look like. So what we have is a red field, right? Red and white field. The red stands for the sacrifice of blood. It's actually American flag red. So it represents those lives given, in blood. The white field below represents purity, because everyone, you guys included, said to your families, you enlisted, you said to your families, hey, I've got a job to do. I know what I'm doing, and I'll be back. Right. So that it was of a pure heart. The blue star is a symbol that goes back to World War I. This is where the term blue star family started. In World War I, families hung a solid blue star on their windows, on their doors, to let the families know, let their neighbors know that they had somebody out in the fight, right? They had somebody actively serving. And this is where we get the term blue star, all the way back to World War I. When that star was overlaid with a gold star, that blue star was overlaid with a gold star, that meant that loved one was not returning home. So you could have a group of stars on a banner in a window, 3 stars, could be a father and 2 sons. That back then it was mostly men that were serving, but regardless, it could have been a daughter, or the mom could have been serving. Anyway, multiple people serving, multiple stars. When that star was overlaid gold, it meant that loved one wasn't coming home, that they had lost their life. And so this is where we get the term gold star family from: gold star wife, gold star mother. This gold star and blue star have come and gone since World War I. They haven't been active the entire time. And now they've become more active since the war in Iraq, has started. It went away kind of after Vietnam. And so it's been here and there, hasn't been consistent. The folded flag right below those stars is representational of a flag that was taken off a casket, reverently, respectfully folded and handed to the loved one, whoever that next of kin was. And one of the things that I say constantly is that this nation was built on one folded flag at a time, because they were, as you had said earlier, we're not talking about statistics. We're talking about individuals who gave their lives that need to be recognized. So one folded flag, one family. The flames, the flames above, eternal flames, that is a symbol that we all recognize as forever remembering, right? That we will continually keep those flames burning and that we will never forget. And then the words below, we will always honor their sacrifice and remember them individually by name. And that has been our focus, to remember them individually by name where we can. Although, as I pointed out, we can never remember them all individually by name. It's just impossible. And so we have to have another way. We have to have a way of recognizing our own, right? Our own heroes, our friends that we lost, and those that we will never know. And this is why this flag is so important. You'll see, you might not be able to read it, but we've designed that flag so that it can be personalized. And so it is our hope and our mission as part of our benevolent goal to gift free of charge. These are handmade flags, this one in particular, to give free of charge to every family who requests one, regardless of generation. So we've been presenting these hand-sewn, personalized flags for the last 17 years. And we have now presented over 5,200 flags, since our inception.
Mm.
So a lot of flags, a lot of families. And so anyway, that's the symbolism of the flag and why it's so important and sends such an effective message. And I want to comment on something you said, Willis, about remembering as individuals, right? You're remembering your buddies, and it's important that you guys aren't forgetting. This has been a really healing balm for many veterans who have lost friends but have not known what to say to the families. They have not been able to actually go out and talk to the families because it's been too painful. And I want to dispel that myth. Families want to hear from you. They want you to reach out. They want to hear stories about their loved one. And do not shy away in any form or fashion from having a conversation, no matter how painful. You're going to think you're going to bring up, wounds, and that it's going to cause pain, and there's going to be tears. Yes, yes, yes. That's all going to happen. But it's good. It's healthy. It needs to be done, not only for them, but for you. So those of you who are listening that may be hesitating, but this flag has been a way to bridge some communication gaps. We've had military sponsor flags for families who are their friends, and they didn't know what else to do, so they ordered a flag, and then they presented that flag to them, or they've flown the flag, and let them know that they're flying the flag, in that person's honor, and for all those that sacrificed. So this is very, very important for the choir, and I'm calling you guys the choir, because you don't really need to know or be reminded that your buddies or others need to be remembered. You don't need that reminder. The VSOs out there don't need to be reminded, right? But it's the rest of America. It's the 90% of America who don't get it, who don't understand and have direct contact. This is why I want the flagpole everywhere in America, because I want corporate America to be flying this flag. I want individual homes to be flying this flag. I want churches and businesses and Home Depots and golf courses and grave sites, memorials. I want everybody flying this flag. Why? Because it says what we all feel anyway, right? We don't want to forget. Memorial Day comes and goes, and all those notices that are out there, all those messages of let's remember these guys, let's remember the fact that sacrifice. It's the day after Memorial Day. It's all gone, and there's not one of those people who are giving that message that I don't believe want to continue the remembrance, right? That just say, we're just going to remember one day, and when that day comes around again, we'll remember. I think everybody really has a propensity to not forget why we live in a free country. And so what I've done is I've given everybody a way to remember 365 without even having to say a word, right? It's the power of the visual.
I mean, looking at Tony's flag on the back wall there, Memorial Day last Monday in May, but December 29th is Memorial Day.
Every day is Memorial Day to these families. If you think about it, Sam, there's not a day in our year that someone hasn't died. Not one day.
Yep.
Or had a birthday. So those are the two most important dates to families: birth dates and anniversary death dates. And so if we have to remember a certain day every single year, then why shouldn't America recognize that we're remembering?
I agree with you there. I think remembrance should be every day of the year. And because like right now I have a nephew that's serving in the army. He's getting ready to deploy. Can't really say where he's deploying to, but let's just say there's a lot of civil unrest in this country that he's going to. And um you always have to remember, and if he goes over there and something happens, and you know families have to remember, we as Americans need to remember that our freedom's not free. It comes at a cost. And it's just not one day of the year that we're supposed to recognize that freedom that we have on Memorial Day. Because families like you guys remember 365 days a year that your son or your daughter um, is no longer here. And unfortunately, that's painful. And then you made a comment about um, families wanting to hear from service members that served with son or daughter. And telling those stories. Well, that's part of the healing journey, like you were saying. For me, like if I went up to you and said, because I knew your son, which I didn't, and I'm telling you stories of how we served and how he was when we were in the combat situation, or how we were on liberty or whatever. Those are stories that you guys won't hear because your loved one's not here any longer. So you have to hear it from the people that they served with. And I think that is a really good healing point for us as service members that have lost somebody during a combat situation, or even succumbing from their demons. Telling those stories of how that person was, and showing how loved they were as a brother and as a sister. I think that's something that should be recognized daily. That's my thing on it.
Man, I'll tell you, I recruited a young kid out of Northern Kentucky. He was 17, needed mom's signature. Mom was the only parent. I later, after I left recruiting duty, served with him. I ran into him in Haiti in 2004. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I told you I was going to check up on you after, I got off recruiting duty." And, the look on his face was like, "Really?" I'm like, "No, dude, I'm stationed here with you." So we served together in 3-8. And then he was killed 2 weeks before coming home in 2006. I was able to present his mom with an honor member flag.
Wow. Wow.
Through another Gold Star father that I served with his son as well. So yeah, Tina Warndorf loves on me. Tyler's buried right here in Northern Kentucky.
That's tough. That's
It
tough.
is tough. So, for me personally, if I wanted to order a flag and I just wanted to say honor and remember, and then not have it personalized to the point of somebody that I lost, but have like all service members, and then have from the date America was born to, and then
You
have an
could do
endless
that.
date. Is that something we can
Yeah,
do?
you could personalize a flag, absolutely. But the flags that are out there for people to buy are what I would call consumable. They're inexpensive, regular flags, just like the U.S. flag behind you. You just put it up on a flagpole. Those are the flags I want across America. They don't have to be personalized, but you can personalize them, and we have to units, that have lost a lot of service members, and recognizing, we do runs in different states, and we put, the state, for instance, Kentucky Military Fallen Heroes, we'll put that on the flag. So there are ways to personalize it that you can, but it's not necessary. One of the things, and honorandremember.org, the website, honor and remember, all spelled out.org, is where you could go and find different products. So we have hats and lapel pins and shirts and a lot of things that show the flag. We're not focusing on the organization, we're focusing on the message. And so, like the tire that that Sam has behind him, that is a message, not about the organization. That is a message that Goodyear is sending to every eyeball that sees it, that they haven't forgotten our military fallen. That's a big deal. When Sam jumps that flag in, to different venues, that huge 1,100 square foot flag, and Sam, we recently made a 6,500 square foot flag
Nice.
that we don't fly in, but we unroll, which has been pretty cool. But when they're jumping that flag in, they're jumping it for every eyeball to see that America's military has fallen, have not been forgotten, or their families. Because going back to Memorial Day, we're not remembering the families. We're remembering the names of the heroes, whatever we're remembering. So this is another miss to me, is that you don't even know all the names, right? But even if you know a name, you may not know, unless you're really intimately involved with the family, you may not know if the parents are together, if they were married or not, whether they have kids. You don't know the dynamics of the family. So the family isn't remembered at all. It becomes that, as a matter of fact, I can go so far as saying that most families are ready for Memorial Day to be over. They don't really want Memorial Day. It's not a day that's recognized for them necessarily. Not that they need to be recognized, but they do need to know that those of them around them haven't forgotten their sacrifice, because they're the ones grieving, right? Which goes back to that every day's Memorial Day. So really, those that are remembering on Memorial Day aren't even the category of what I'm talking about. That is only the low-hanging fruit, because that's a day that is easy to assimilate, right? Oh, it's Memorial Day, so we should be remembering. It's harder to get the everyday thing to come across. But if I can get everyone to fly the flag every day, then that message is continuing. So there's so much to this flag that brings healing and recognition and awareness, to so many that are out there just continually grieving. And the other thing is, I encourage families, when they see a flag flying, to stop in and thank them for flying that flag and tell their story.
No, I like that a lot. Yeah, I definitely like that a lot. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that we've kind of talked about with other Gold Star families over the course of the last 2 years. When you guys, as a Gold Star family, you go to veteran events and stuff like that, do you feel like sometimes you guys are shunned at veteran events as a Gold Star family?
I would say no, for the most part. I think that sometimes people don't show the respect that they could, in terms of some things. But I think generally they are handled with respect. You got to remember that there are personalities among Gold Star families that are among the whole population, right? We have type A, type B, type C, if the ABC is a thing. You've got families that are very I want to say in your face, but very open, very forward, very trying to do these things. I mentioned post offices and bridges. Not everybody's trying to do that, but there are families that are out there actively trying to make all the noise they can, right? And then there are families and those first families will show up at everything, okay? Then you've got families that, when invited to something, they may come, they might not come. It depends on how they're feeling, depends on what's going on in their day, depends on how long ago their loved one might have, been lost. And then you've got families that won't show up to anything. You'll never know them. You'll never see them. They are going to be a part of the wall, the wallpaper. They're not going to make themselves known. And you will never find out that they lost somebody, after the fact, because it's not a part of their DNA.
Right.
But every one of those families needs to know that they have not been forgotten, that their loved one is still remembered. That is the difference, is that we don't all recognize that there are these people groups out there that fall into these different categories. All we do is create these events for people that are coming. And we're forgetting all the people that will never come and never have any idea that they haven't been forgotten. See, this is a whole missing group that I don't talk a lot about, but they're in the tens of thousands. Because Sam, you guys, if you go to events, you see the same people.
Yeah.
And you may see one or two new ones, but that's not many.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason I asked that question is with over the journey of doing this podcast, a lot of the veteran families that are Gold Star families, they say that when they go to these events, they feel like they're shunned. And I think the reason why they feel that way is because a lot of people who put these events on, whether it's just for the people that are there or to remember, a lot of people don't know how to go up to a Gold Star family and interact with them. They don't want it to be awkward, I guess. So they don't make
they're all human beings.
Right.
Go up and introduce yourself. Listen to their story.
Yeah.
Tell them yours. I can't tell you how many. I've got probably 6 or 7 coins in the other room from family members that lost their loved one. I personally didn't know them, but I know them now through the families by approaching them and asking them, who their loved one was and listening to their story and their life events. And even though I never met them personally, I know them now. And how do you approach anybody, whether a Gold Star family or not? You go up and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
That excuse of you don't know how to approach them, it's BS, man. I'll tell you that first and foremost, because if we didn't approach anybody, we wouldn't know anybody. You'd be sitting here in your room all by yourself.
But some people aren't as open. Sam, I'm one of those C people. Okay, you wouldn't believe it, but I'm one of those C people. I don't go to events. I don't go to veterans things.
I know we had to pull you into Warrior Weekend.
I don't want to be recognized. I'm not that person. But because I'm not that person, I realize that there's a lot of those people out there, even in a room now. And even if it's in a room of Gold Star families, I just hosted 300. Okay. I didn't go around and meet them all. I didn't even try to go around and meet them all, because it's not, it's not my comfort. It's not in my comfort zone.
Right.
It's just not. And people will come up to me and go, and, like I know them, and it's like, oh, hi, nice to see you again. It's just really difficult for me. And so I know I'm not alone. And so I want to give that opportunity for people to speak to me.
Yeah.
It means the most to me to see here's what means the most to me. And this is my gift to every Gold Star family in America, whether they call themselves Gold Star or next of kin or whatever. If they've lost a loved one in serving or while serving, I don't have to use that definition, but here's my gift to them. This is what touches my heart. When I leave my driveway and go down to the end of my block, there's 2 honor member flags in my neighbor's yard, about a mile down the road. Okay. I live out in the country. I take a right and I go another 2 miles. I'm telling you, literally, there's a VFW post at the end flying an honor member flag. If I take a left and go 3 more miles, there's a Rotary Club that's flying an honor remember flag. If I go 5 more miles on that same road, I'm going to run into an American Legion post, the oldest in Virginia, flying an honor remember flag. If I take a right and go down 2 more miles, there's a church on one of the busiest intersections in Chesapeake flying an honor remember flag.
Mm.
And I could probably give you that scenario all over town, including the airport you fly in and out of, that's got a 5x8 honor remember flag.
Mm.
This is my vision for every family who has given a military hearing for our country's freedom, to see a flag as often as I see a flag, to remind them they haven't forgotten. And those flags have been up for years. They stay up. I don't have anything to do with them.
Yeah, Richmond International Raceway, or it's Richmond Raceway Park now, I think, that they fly it year round. And you're talking about a private company NASCAR race, a track
Right.
that is flying it. So there's a school up by the drop zone that flies one every single day, and that's here in Ohio. So, and I can ride around and see 5 or 6 of my area as well. And there's no name on them.
Right.
It's the screen print,
Right.
honor remember flag. This one doesn't fly. It hangs in my office. But my friend Cheryl Dillon had this printed off, and she hiked it to the top of Mount Elbrus in Russia.
I remember
And then when
that.
she came home, she presented it to me.
That's nice.
And then that's a picture of her holding it at the top
Yeah.
of Mount Elbrus. But that
I
hangs in
have
my
it.
office all day.
Yeah.
This hangs in my garage all day. This challenge coin's in my display all the time.
Yeah.
So and then anywhere I go to an event, I have the honor member pin on my lapel. So
this is what I'm saying.
I'm made up with it just because I lost 25 guys that I served with, plus the hundreds of families that I've met in meeting George, and and then trying to get legislation passed here in Kentucky to have the honor member flag be the official flag of remembrance for Kentucky, which I think you guys are up 26, 27 states now that it recognizes
28.
Yeah, so 28 states in the nation recognizes that honor member flag as the official flag of remembrance for that state.
28 states.
I don't understand why it's not 50.
Have.
I don't understand why it's not 50.
Right. It needs to be. Yeah, Ohio and Kentucky have been a hard-fought battle.
Yeah.
One of the things that I guess I want people to realize is that this is for everyone. Everyone who lives in this free country. This flag needs to be, they need to acknowledge it, recognize it, fly it, display it, whatever, because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
If you look at, there's no competition. We're in a category all of our own. If you think about it, there are over 1 million nonprofits in the United States, recognized nonprofits, over 1 million. 45,000 of those are military related. 45,000 nonprofits, from the little mom and pops to the big Wounded Warrior projects. There's 45,000. Okay. We're the only entity in America that is bringing forward a national symbol that umbrellas everything. And still we're not everywhere. I don't understand it myself, but we're getting ready to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. I think every state should have that as their state flag of remembrance, is that flag right there. And I'm going to order 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4. Once we get done here today, I'm probably going to go ahead and put an order in. My wife will kill me, but she'll get over it. Because
before we continue, though, there's also another piece of honor and remember, right? It's not just for the veterans. They have another flag with a separate entity that covers our first responders too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
I don't
another.
want to get off. I don't want to get off here without mentioning that, and honor and sacrifice for our first responders and those families that have lost loved ones while serving as a first responder, serving our communities on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's another piece to that on there, and you can get there through honorandremember.org as well, and you can see the honor and sacrifice flag and
I'll,
everything they're
I'll
doing there.
let me just take 1 minute since you brought it up, Sam. Is one of the things that I realized is that after a number of years is that the public safety individuals, those that put their lives on the line in the fire community and the police community, needed also to be recognized in a very special and unique way. And I didn't see anything out there that was doing that. That was what I was explaining earlier, was global, right? A way to send a message globally, not just one person who was lost. And so we created the honor and sacrifice flag. It's a very, very beautiful flag. It's very symbolic of our police, our fire, our sheriffs, our marshals, our law enforcement in every category, really. And is it also, there's a way to personalize it and honor that individual who gave their life in a unique way. And so that honor and sacrifice flag, very symbolic, very colorful, very very necessary, because I didn't see anything out there that enabled us to make that same statement. Now, one of the things that you don't know about me or whatever, it's just in my design mentality, is that I never like to see the American flag turned into anything else. And so there's a lot of flags out there that use the American flag. They make it black and white. There you go. Honor and sacrifice. Thank you, Sam. That, they'll take the American flag and turn it into something else. You've seen like red stripes, blue stripes, purple stripes. It's the American flag. And so every time I see it with a different color stripe, I'm wondering what the heck, So my idea, my concept was to create something so unique that it got your attention, and the symbolism behind it gave you very meaningful reasons why it was important. And so both with the honor member flag and the honor and sacrifice flag, I feel like I have given America a way to be thankful for those individuals willing to put their lives on the line. And I've covered all of those areas, the most prolific areas where those deaths are occurring. I think the honor and sacrifice flag could actually be bigger than the honor and remember flag, in the long run, especially if we get further and further away from war. Right?
Yeah.
And so we need to be continuously reminded that freedom comes at a price, but we also need to be reminded that a lawful America and a safe America comes at a price as well inside of our communities. So that flag, by the way, Sam, the honor and sacrifice flag, has been adopted in 2 states as
That's
an
awesome.
official state symbol of remembrance for first responders, not without any of my doing. It's not even my mission. It's just something I created so that it would be a gift to those families. So it's already finding its way without me doing any extra work. But Willis, I wanted to just tag on to what you were saying about buying 3 or 4 flags. Is this? I've challenged those on my team. They live all across the country, to go and find a flagpole that's significant in their area, at an intersection, at a prominent, shopping mall, whatever. Find a significant flag and go in there and share about the Honor and Remember mission and what it means to have that flag up, and see if we can't get flagpoles flying this flag other than our own, right? Go in, share it, especially in the 28 states where it is officially adopted, because you've got a reason to educate, right? Hey, did you know that this flag is adopted in our state as official? And here's what it stands for, and here's what it means, and here who's going to see it and recognize that you're sending a message of remembrance. I challenge your folks out there who are watching and listening.
Yeah, you can find that list of states on honorremember.org as well.
Yeah, so I know Shepherdsville is doing that new Veterans Park, Sam. I'm gonna reach out to the mayor and say, hey, we need one of these flags to fly in the park. And then if we can get it to fly during when we bring the traveling wall back, I think we're going to try to get that done too. So there's a lot of things we can do here local in my area to make that happen. And they just redid our Veterans Memorial that we have here in Mount Washington. I had some input on what, some of the layout on it, and I'm gonna ask them if they can grab one of these flags and fly it as well. So yeah, I got some things. My brain's already running circles here. I'm surprised you don't see the smoke coming out of the earphones yet.
And the protocol is not, it doesn't have to fly on its own pole. If there is its own pole, that's great, but it can fly on the pole with any other flag, and it always flies at the bottom. So if you've got the U.S. flag, the POW flag, you can put the honor remember flag. If you have the U.S. flag, the state flag, you can put the honor remember flag. If you have two poles and you have the U.S. flag on one pole and state flag on the other, you could put it under the state flag or the U.S. flag. It's not usurping anything.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because of the lives it represents. I always want it to fly as close to half staff as possible.
I mean, that makes sense. 100 makes a lot of sense to fly at the bottom, so it'd be close to the half staff. That definitely makes sense.
But some people put it on its own pole. If they have 3 poles, they can put it on its own pole, just to put the protocol out there in case anybody goes, well, I only have 1 pole. So what? So do I.
Fly it right below the American flag or whatever flag you're flying. So
exactly.
I'm right there with you. So I love it. I love it. Is there anything else that you want to talk about real quick before we wrap up the show today?
No, I would just say, go to honorremember.org, get involved or fly a flag, either one, try to get flags flying. I mean, those are things that I've said, I've encouraged for all the reasons that are out there. My mission is to spread the fire, and let these families know, and even those that will never meet, that you or I will never ever meet, that they still have not been forgotten.
Definitely. So I want to thank you for coming on here, sharing your story and your why. I definitely love the flag, and I'm definitely, like I said, I'm going to order some flags, and I'm going to put one up here at my house, and then I'm going to take one down to my mom and my sister, and then my other sister as well. And then I'm going to talk to the mayor in my city and the mayor in Shepherdsville and say, hey, we need to get one of these flags for each one of the veterans memorials that we have. And then I'm going to start talking to people about it. I just found out about who you were just recently through Sam, and I'm gonna support your mission as much as I can. So if you're out there, you're watching, you're listening, go to the website. There is a donate button on there as well. If you want to donate to the organization, go order you a flag, and tag us in it. Take a picture when you start flying it. Tag HomeFront Sitrep, tag Sam, tag Honor and Remember in it. That way we can spread it like wildfire. So, George, thank you again for coming on here and telling us your story, sir.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Could I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Those personalized flags that we give out, that's where that donation is really helpful towards, because we have right now over 300 requests from families that we cannot get to because of funding. So it'd be very important if somebody wants to even sponsor a flag or a portion of a flag, those donations would really help in making that a reality for a family that's been waiting for quite a long time.
Mm.
So that's
So we
my
need
final word.
to figure a way to help get some funding, Sam. We need to do something to get some funding there. So yeah, we definitely need to do that, guys. Go click that donate button there. I don't know what the flag costs to the individual flag, but
500.
500. There you go. So if you want to sponsor a flag, if you got $10, $20, $1, go donate to the organization so they can get these flags out for these individual families that want to remember their loved one. And then go buy just one of the normal flags off of the website and fly it in your yard. Fly it proud. Fly it behind your truck when you're driving down the highway if you do that. Go honor and remember somebody today, if you don't mind. Thank you very much, George. Thank you again. Me and Sam's going to take about 10 minutes here, wrap up if you want to hang out in the green room, and then we'll do some more talking right after we wrap it up. Sam, you got anything to say to George before we drop him down?
Nah, thanks for taking the time coming on. It's greatly appreciated. I miss you guys.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Willis. God bless you guys.
God bless you. Man, Sam.
Yeah. I knew that was going to be a tough one today.
Yeah, it definitely is tough. I mean, I've talked with a lot of Gold Star families over the course of 2 years. Probably not as much as you, probably not as much as George, but I feel when it comes to Gold Star families, especially like Michelle Black, she's a Gold Star widow, and her story, how when she went to veteran organizations and different veteran events, that she was getting shunned. It blows my mind how a family member, loved one of somebody who paid the ultimate sacrifice can be shunned in a community of veterans that all we want to do is love and support our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind, and
Well,
that's
and here's the thing too. So we one of the first events that we hosted, we had a 2-star general that didn't even know what a Gold Star family was.
yeah,
So we had to explain to him. It's like, I mean, I get it. Each command's different. Every branch is different. But how do you not know what a Gold Star family is? And and George talked about how the Blue Star and the Gold Star went away for a period of time. And if you look at the Blue Star organization or the Gold Star organization, it says is to be flown during a time of war or conflict.
yeah,
So as soon as that war is over with, those flags technically are supposed to come down.
right.
Right. And I know a lot of Gold Star families that still fly the Gold Star flag because that represents their loved one. And it always will, whether it's time of war or not. So for George to create the flag, to have it flown, 24/7, 365 with the same symbolism as, the Gold Star service banner, I think that means a lot to the family, especially when, they can be presented that personalized flag.
Yeah.
And, some of those flags are made right here at Cincinnati at National Flag. And, they're embroidered, they're hand sewn with each single letter being hand stitched into that flag. So, there's a lot of love and respect that go into those, because I know a lot of the people at National Flag, they put up my flagpole, a couple of years ago. And then the screen printed ones, you can get a screen printed one that can be personalized too with the screen print. So there's so many different ways to go out there and show your support for Honor and Remember. But yeah, like George said, making that donation, sponsoring a flag, 300 families right now that are on a wait list to get a flag made and presented to them. And each flag comes with a certificate and, gets presented to them. And what's part of the thing is, the flag comes folded like a triangle, and then they unfold it, and open it up to the family, present it to the family. But when it gets given back to that family, it's folded lengthwise twice, and then with their loved one's name showing, gets draped over that arm, because that flag is not to be folded back into a triangle again, because the last thing that they get was given as their loved one was that folded triangle. Now this
Right.
is, something new to remember their loved one by.
Mm.
And it's just watching the ceremony, or being out there at the Gold Star family dinner that they host in Virginia every year, and watch the families get presented the flag. And yeah, it's emotional. It's very emotional, whether you served with a person or not. You can see the somewhat relief that comes off the family knowing that their loved one is not forgotten.
Yeah, definitely. And we played this video. It's only 13 seconds. Um, and it just fits in kind of the mission of honor and remember. I'm just going to play it. 13 seconds.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories.
Yeah.
That right there. Freedom is not free. I wish it was a little bit longer than 13 seconds, but God, yeah, yeah. Whew, great episode. Thank you. I want to say thank you again to George for coming on and telling his story about
For sure.
honor and remember, and the sacrifice that his son made for this grateful nation. Man,
Yeah,
if you're
he's a great guy. I've known George for, like I said, probably 10 years now. And um I've ran into him, across the nation. We jumped into Phoenix one year, and I ran into him out there, and then he came in for the Kentucky run for the fall, and then I ran to him there. So, being part of the team, and getting to travel, I get to see him. But I definitely need to get back out his way, because there's just an amazing seafood place called Margie and Ray's that I want to get to. So I got to get back out his way, and get
nice,
out there too. So
nice. If you're a veteran, you're in crisis, 988 star one. Call Sam, call me, call somebody, because we're here, and this kind of goes to what Sam says all the time, right here.
yeah, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let your dark days win. There's somebody out here that loves you, and there is definitely somebody here that will be an ear for you to vent to.
Yeah, definitely, and that leads right into this. Hashtag be someone stranger. We talk about it all the time here on Homefront Sitrep. We as Americans, we as humans are more apt to talk to somebody who's a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So be that ear for somebody to vent to. Don't try to fix them. Like Sam says, don't try to fix them. Sometimes we just want to vent and talk about what's going on with our inner struggles. So hashtag be somebody stranger. And then like I said earlier in the show, we are proud partners with Reach Across America Radio. You can find Homefront Sitrep on there on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. The link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, reachacrossamerica.org/radio, or you can find it in the iHeartRadio app, the Audacity app, or the TuneIn app. And just search the word Wreath, and you can see all the shows that are on there. There's some great shows on Reach Across America Radio. And then, like I said, if you're a veteran, or if just or a family member of a veteran and you're in crisis, 988 star one if you're a veteran, 988 if you're not a veteran. And if you don't like the person you're talking with, disconnect, hang up, call back, get somebody different. If you don't like that person, hang up, disconnect, call back. You can chat with them, you can text them. There's several ways to get a hold of 988. So let's play that commercial real quick, Sam. Mm, mm. And, I've said that twice today. Somebody asked me earlier how I was doing, and I said I'm hanging in there. Um, it just it is what it is. Some days are better than other days, but it's just we got to keep pushing forward, even on our bad days. You just got to keep pushing forward. And like Sam said, somebody wants you to be here tomorrow. Just show up. Somebody loves you. Somebody wants you to be here tomorrow. So just show up for them. Be there because you are not alone. We are here for you. Um, if you're a veteran, you're in need, or if you're a veteran and you're in the need of a second opinion for your VA disability, or if you're starting your VA journey and you have questions, you can email a good friend of mine, Monica Sanford. She hosts a podcast called the Monica Sanford Show. You can email her at askmonica0@gmail.com, and she will walk you through steps. She will get on a Zoom call with you and hear your story and tell you or help guide you in the right direction to get your VA disability approved or get your rating increased. Miss Monica is amazing. She can help you definitely take care of you. So let's play that real quick. Well, Sam, it's about that time of night, my friend.
Yep.
You want to take us out of here tonight?
Like we always say on HomeFront Sitrep, stay safe out there. We got your six.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.